Good to have you, Chief. Just before we go on, could you clarify where you're joining us from?
I'm joining from Victoria Land, Lagos.
All right. So, Deputy Senate President says the matter of honoring Professor Nwosu is controversial. He said some people see him as one of those who truncated the June 12th election, while others say he was a hero of democracy. You were a very strong player during this time, working with MKO Abiola. Where do you align here? Honor or a minute silence?
You see, I am quite embarrassed about the present Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I can see that a lot of people, maybe they were too young, and so do not have that sense of history. But the truth is that Professor Humphrey Nwosu did the job requested of him, and he did it creditably well. It was not his duty to annul or not to annul. It was to organize an election. And that election was adjudged the best, the fairest in the history of Nigeria. So I wonder what exactly these senators who are opposing him being, honored, I wonder what they want him to do or what he could have done that I did not do. The reason why everybody is talking about June 12th today and saying that Abiola won was because there was an election in the first instance. So, but I see a lot of ignorance flying around the Senate. The same people criticizing Professor Humphrey Nwosu, he did not do this, he did not declare the results, he did not do that. There are people who cannot even hold government accountable today. They are asking Nwosu to do what he could not have done. And this was under a military regime. In a civilian regime, we have these people who are talking here, or rubber stamping. Anything Tinubu says, they will rubber stamp it. The same people have the effrontery to criticize someone who did his job very well.
No, I guess you align with what the current INEC chairman has said, Mahmoud Yakubu. He said that he confirms what you said, that Nwosu conducted elections in an extremely challenging context. But there's something else he said, that it was an oversight that the prof was not honored in his lifetime. So looking at what is playing out, what would be the right kind of honor for the role played by Nwosu in the June 12th story? Because the senators don't seem to agree on what move to take.
I will repeat what I said just now. Now I can see a lot of ignorance flying around. It is only someone who are ignorant about what happened in 1993 that would want to rob Nwosu of his due recognition. The man did a great job, and I wish that the present INEC would emulate him and do a great job and stand by it. He stood by it throughout his life. He stood by it. And he said it clearly that MKO Abiola won that election. No, and it's not in dispute. Today, every election in Nigeria is in dispute. Every election must end up in a law court.
Yeah, so I was leaning more. So I was leaning more towards you pointing the lawmakers in the right direction, asking. There were a couple of requests from the lawmakers who were pushing for posthumous honors for Nwosu. I think it included putting his name, naming the Abuja INEC office after him, giving him a national title. So I'm just asking, based on what you know, if you could maybe suggest what would be an appropriate honor for a man who conducted the June 12th election, which has now given us Democracy Day, a different Democracy Day from October 1.
No, why would I recommend what they should do for him when they are not even agreeing that he did anything? My job here is to say that this man deserves to be honored. Whatever they decide to do thereafter, that is their own business. The thing is that they must first accept that the man performed and he was one of the best we ever had in the electoral history of Nigeria. But in a situation where people are arguing ignorantly of the fact that the man performed and did a good job, and they should commend and recommend him for recognition, and they should also wish that the present INEC would emulate what Humphrey Nwosu did. That is all that I'm interested in. Whether they now name the INEC building after him, they name streets after him, whatever it is, the first thing is let us give him his due honor that the man did very well. And he deserves to be honored. That's all.
All right, let me bring up another issue that came up at the Senate. Senator Afolabi Salisu is all reported that immortalizing Nwosu would undermine the memory of MKO Abiola. I'm asking you this question because of your relationship with the legend. He's advocating nothing more than a 1-minute silence for the professor, which was the prayer that the Senate actually granted. What would be your response to this claim by the senator that honoring Nwosu will be disrespecting MKO Abiola?
Nwosu had nothing to do with the annulment. He was not the head of state. He was not the president. He was not the commander-in-chief. His job was limited to conducting a free and fair election, and he delivered spectacularly. Against all odds, there were people who didn't want election to hold. The man went ahead. You remember Chief Attorney Nzeribe, you remember Otumba Abimbola Davis, and all of them. They didn't want it, but this man still went ahead and delivered spectacularly. For the first time, there was no issue of religion, there was no issue of ethnicity. Chief Abiola won, and everybody knew the results, even though the military refused to release the results. That was not his fault. That had nothing to do with him. So it is ignorant of anyone to start arguing. I see people participating today in the Senate. These are people who today cannot even challenge the status quo. They cannot even query the president when he is going wrong, when he has, made any wrong decision. The same people are expecting Nwosu to afford the military who had all the guns on his neck. That's very unfortunate.
All right. One author, there's been a lot of publication on this subject since it started. One author has described the professor, slated for burial tomorrow, by the way, as an eminently unsung hero in the June 12th story. Do you share this view? Do you think that, he will remain unsung going by what is playing out today? Or there's a possibility that in the future, he will get the honor he deserves based on the calls to the president?
I don't think this set of senators who are arguing against him being honored should even now go ahead to do it. Because a man of honor deserves honor from people of honor and people who know the meaning of what it is to have integrity. Everybody is embarrassed today about what is going on in Nigeria, and we expect that, okay, when the executive is fumbling, the legislature will rise up to the occasion. And when the legislature is fumbling, the judiciary will rise up to the occasion. But what do we have today? Things are no longer at ease and things are falling apart. So my own opinion is that it does not matter whether they agree to honor Nwosu or not. God has already honored him, and that's why we are talking about him. If he did not perform, there will be nobody here wasting his time to talk about him. But in Nigeria, even sometimes in death, people can still envy you. And I believe some people, number one, out of ignorance, can never appreciate what is good in other people. It takes greatness to recognize greatness in other people. And I believe that Humphrey Nwosu has already earned his greatness on earth. It does not matter if gods with feet of clay would honor him or not. They are playing God in the Senate, in the National Assembly, and we see it every day. They are unraveling every day. And we're all very embarrassed that our senators cannot understand that the man who was doing a job did his own job. If others did not do their own, that is not his fault. The man who annulled the election has admitted that he made a mistake, and that's the candidate. He acknowledged it. He did not say who told him not to reduce the. So I don't understand what the argument is all about. It's so embarrassing.
All right, would you add your voice to the call to the president to, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still the one that will make the decision as to who he wants to honor. Would you add your voice to the call for the president to do something about honoring Professor Nwosu?
No, I don't have to add any voice because in Nigeria, we have all become voiceless. So it's their business to do it. If they don't do it, someone else will do it. It's even embarrassing that they took President Muhammadu Buhari to honor Abiola himself. So if those who fought for the revalidation of the June 12 results are in power today and they are still arguing, their cronies are the ones arguing blindly in the Senate and saying the man cannot be honored, then it makes no difference. So it's up to the president to do whatever he wishes. He has the power to do it. But he may decide to listen to his cronies who are fighting in the Senate that someone should not be honored after he had delivered on his job.
All right, Chief, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time on the news.